Hey everyone, welcome back to the George Poulos podcast. If you're on YouTube listening to this or watching this, I decided to film vertically for some reason. I don't know, sometimes I just like to switch things up. I actually feel really tempted to record the podcast without video at all. But that's not very 2024 modern tech of me. For social media repurposing and all that. Anyways, what I wanted to share in this episode was that yesterday I did a circle day. That's what my friend Sachi called it on her Instagram. Sachi is a meditation teacher at 3 Joules, and she posted on Instagram about doing what she calls a circle day, which is a 1-day silent retreat for meditation and creativity. Okay, so when I saw this on her story, I immediately felt the true call. I was like, yes, I'm putting that on my calendar now. So I chose a random Sunday on the calendar, and I was like, this is my mini 1-day retreat day. Complete silence all day, no phone, no technology, multiple meditation sessions, multiple yoga sessions. I allowed myself to journal and to be creative, but overall it was a day of silence. And man, it was beautiful. So here's a look at the schedule that I tried to set for myself. Okay, I'm showing it on the YouTube camera, but if you're listening, I'll read it out to you. So at 7 a.m., here's the schedule I planned. 7 a.m., wake up, tea, coffee, light snack. 8 to 9:30 a.m., yoga number 1 and meditation number 1. 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., meal number 1, and I pre-planned my meals out beforehand. 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., meditation number 2. 11 to 12, personal time, creativity, journaling. 12 to 1:30, meal number 2. 1:30 to 5:30, big block. I didn't know what to put. I just wrote yoga, meditation, silence. 5:30 to 6:30, meal number 3. 6:30, meditation number 4. 8:30, done. Okay, so that's the schedule I kind of planned just because I wanted some sort of a structure to follow, but I ultimately didn't follow it that clearly. I did wake up. I did a short yoga session. I did a long meditation to start the day. But then the day kind of became fairly structureless. It was a lot of... I ended up meditating like 6 times, about 10 to 20 minute sessions. Whenever I felt called to meditate, I would just sit to meditate. Meals were really exciting. It was cool to just watch myself get hungry, and then I would go do the things I need to do to make the food, eat the food, clean the dishes. Those were like the most eventful parts of the day. There was also... Okay, so the 3 Joules people, like the advanced practitioners who are really going on this Buddhist path, they do like 7 to 10 day silent, isolated retreats by themselves. So what I did was basically a beginner version. My girlfriend also did it with me, so I wasn't totally by myself. And I think the way that they're doing it is very minimal. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but I was reading a lot and I was writing a lot. So while there were definitely extended periods of silence, like I remember one time just looking out the window for an hour straight, and I really felt like a child doing that. I can't remember the last time. There was also a lot of reading. So just to share, I finished reading The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. I finished reading The Art of Focus by Dan Koh. And I finished reading The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. No, sorry. I started rereading The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron during this day. Also, can we talk about the synchronicity here? Circle Day. It's called Circle Day by Sachi. And both of these books that I finished have a circle on the front of them. I thought that was quite the synchronicity. So it was a really beautiful experience. I felt like time collapsed in on itself. And basically, it felt like a psychedelic trip. I felt like time collapsed in on itself. And instead of mapping time onto this present moment, it was just present moment with different karmas shifting before me. The present moment was morphing. Different karmic seeds were opening one by one. And my experience was changing. But there was no like time moving the way that we usually think about it in a linear way, which was very cool. Here's like a universal one. Like, you know how we're all addicted to dopamine? Or if you're like me, you're addicted to dopamine, you're addicted to checking your phone, checking Instagram. Whenever there's a moment of silence, you grab something to fill the space, to fill it with entertainment, with content, with information. I'm certainly this way. Okay, so during this silent retreat, like I would feel like the urge, like I want to get on my phone. And then I remember, oh, I'm on a silent retreat. So then you push through it. And when you resist that initial discomfort of like the craving to grab your phone or to distract yourself, it takes a little bit of time, but if you push through it, like something beautiful arises in the mind. I did a note. Can I pull it out? Let me find it. Hang on. I did this little doodle. I've been really liking my sketchbook. It says, grab your phone and miss out on the majesty of this mind, because there's really something beautiful there if you allow yourself the space to see it, right? And in the past, we were scared to look for that beauty that's in the mind when you stay still. But now that we're over that fear, it's like granting ourselves the space and time to witness it is just so beautiful. And frankly, like why am I recording this episode is because I think you should try this. I think you should pick one day, maybe make it a Sunday, where you are silent for the entire day, from the moment you wake up till the moment you go to sleep. Or no, sorry. I actually ended mine at 8:30 p.m. And you don't have to meditate 6 times like I did, but I think you should try the silence, because we use words like we pick up our phones and distract ourselves. We distract ourselves by talking. The silence allows you to see what's happening in your mind. Like I said, I think you'll see that like, oh, different experiences are opening and new waves of the mind are coming and going. It's beautiful to witness. I think you should try it. I think everyone should do this once a month. I know I've only done it once, but I'm going to try to integrate this into my life once a month. The journey that I'm on is clarifying, by the way. It's not to become this great meditator. It's to have a great life. Okay, so and embracing change is a part of that. And it's like, oh, I found this new thing. It works. It shows me something beautiful. Right? Why am I still meditating? Because meditating works. It makes my life better. It makes me a better person. More loving, more calm, more tranquil, more courageous, better teacher, better content creator. So I found this one day silent retreat thing. I want to do it once a month for sure. And I really felt during this day that like the mind is a runaway train, and we never, the daily meditation sessions are great and they do something, but like to really take a break from the world, it's super, super powerful. I want to go back. I want to go back into that retreat space, and I understand why the 3 Joules people do it for so long. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is you don't have to meditate 6 times and do yoga 2 times. You can make it what it is for you. Like my girlfriend didn't meditate. She had a profound experience too. For her, it was more like an artist and creativity retreat. You know, for me, it was more of a meditation, spiritual retreat. I think there's a core thing in this, and it's that you're taking a break from the stories, from the outside world, from the runaway train mind, and you're just coming within, letting yourself play, not listening to what anyone else's opinions are, what anyone else's ideas are for what you should do. Just looking at yourself. And you'll see something really beautiful there if you do this for yourself. My call to action for you would be, put this on your calendar now. Put it on the calendar for March, pick a Sunday and stick to it. Like when someone asks you to schedule something on that day, be like, "No, I'm busy." And before you go in, tell your friends and family, "My phone's going to be off." And give yourself that sacred time and space. So that's why I'm recording this episode. I'm going to shift gears here and talk about the social media journey. So I've learned to embrace change on the creative journey. It's actually, I think artist is a great label. I'm an artist. I love creating. I love expressing myself. And a trap that I've gotten stuck in before is feeling like I need to figure out the right way to do things, the right format for my content, etc. And that's going to be it. And then I'm going to be good. Now I realize it's an ever-changing, ever-flowing, ever-developing process. Continual process of experimentation and change. So anyways, I'm getting there's confusion arising about the podcast because I have opened myself finally to posting whatever I want on my big skate channel. There's no niche anymore. It's just my channel. So like the next video idea I have is to talk about meditation. But now it's like, wait, meditation is what I was talking about on the podcast, and on the skate channel, I was posting skating. But now that I'm opening myself to talk about meditation on the skate channel, what becomes the purpose for the podcast? Do you feel what I'm saying? And there's this interesting thing I'm connecting to where it's like, there's so many different ways to express oneself and to express what's in one's heart. And the podcast has been really enjoyable for me because I don't have to plan or think. I just really just dump. It's funny, right? Like on this podcast, I'm basically giving you guys like a rough draft. Like before I've sorted and thought out and come up with a structure. This podcast is me just like, here's my raw heart and the rawness of what I'm learning and experiencing as I go about this journey to better myself as an artist, creator, lover, friend, etc. So anyways, what I'm starting to feel is like, oh, maybe on the YouTube channel now is where I like kind of articulate more in a more structured and thought out way what I've learned so that a certain kind of audience can get that and really see the steps and the format and how my brain has processed these things. And maybe the podcast is like it's more like a journal entry, like a friend to friend, like here's what I'm figuring out as I go about the way. So that's one thought, right? The other thought is like, no, that's kind of the thought. It's a little bit of confusion, but another thing that I've learned is confusion doesn't mean stop moving. Confusion means adjust as you go. So I think when I used to fall into this kind of confusion about where am I posting what, I would start panicking and I would paralyze and stagnate and stop posting and stop sharing and think there's this thing I have to figure out and then I can express and it has to be in the right way. But now I'm like, oh no, it's just change coming. Of course change is coming. Change always comes. And I can lean in and figure it out as I'm continuing to express my art. I'm liking the artist label in that way because it's like the important thing is that I continue to express and to share, and the format and where and what and how is less important. I'm also beginning to gravitate towards the label of teacher, which is really cool because it's like Something so strong, like so life-changing that I connected to during MTT, and it's just sinking deeper into my heart, is that like we are all teachers. We've all solved problems in our lives through experience. Just because we're not completely enlightened or haven't figured everything out doesn't mean we can't teach to those exact issues in our lives that we have figured out. So in that way, it's like we actually all have something to share, like from a really pure place of service and wanting to help people. That blew my mind. Like that I don't have to have it all figured out. I can teach what I know from a very genuine place of wanting to help people. That has really unleashed my art and my teaching. Because, right, is this episode a little messy, a little rambly, a little chaotic? I'm coughing in between it. I didn't plan it out so well. Yes. But what's the core of the intention is that I had this beautiful experience in this one-day retreat, and I want to tell you about it because it helped me, so I think it can help you. That, oh my gosh, connecting to that is freedom. It's freedom. Reminds me of the episode about make it about someone else, not about you. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And all of these books are related to this. Guys, everything is a pattern within a pattern. So in The Art of Focus, Dan Koe essentially says each of us can succeed as creators in this life, in this economy, in this society, because we all have something to teach. We all have some knowledge in our heart that has worked for us, and we can all teach it to others and be paid for it. That's kind of Dan Koe's thing. And I'm like, whoa, I don't have to just fight for this ad revenue. I can make a product or a service and teach and really teach people who want to pay for it. So this is all storming in my mind. And it's making me think about the Buddhist lineage at Three Jewels. It's like, whoa, yeah, like there are teachers who have figured things out and they teach their students. And when the students figure things out, they teach their students. And it's this never ending cycle. And there's actually an abundance. We can all be teachers in this way. And Dan Koe really maps that to the modern capitalist society. So that's been really cool to think about. The Creative Act is all about, oh my God, when I was reading The Creative Act during this silent retreat, I started crying. I felt like God was talking to me. It was so, so, so beautiful. It's about the experience of creating, and it just touched my soul. It just really touched my soul. And The Artist's Way is the first book that started to open me as an artist. And after reading Dan Koe and Rick Rubin, I was like, just feeling called to open up this book again. The first book that really cracked me open as a creative, that made me brave enough to start this podcast. And there's a big difference between what this podcast is now and what it was back then. There's this transition that I've gone through that I hope you'll all go through because it's really beautiful. And it's actually what we're looking for. So I think when I first found meditation, my brain was still in this very egotistical way of thinking. So when I found meditation, I was like, and I was burning out of skating at the time. I was like, oh, it's not skating, it's meditation. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a channel about meditation. And I'm going to get people to follow along this journey. I made the same mistake. But through the meditation undid my egotistical thinking. And I realized that, no, service is the answer. It's not about, I'm this. Let me get all these people to see that I am this. You know what I mean? It's like, no, this has helped me. I'm going to show it to you because I think it can help. If you're like me, I think it can help you too. Do you feel how that's an unlimited power source? And you can all have this, you know? You can all have this, and you can find it quicker than I did. Damn, it's been a journey for me though. And it's still unfolding, obviously. Long way to go, long way to go. Really, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. It does not end. Things like, it's crazy. I read The Artist's Way for the first time in, I think, 2021. And I was breaking free. 2022, maybe. I was breaking free. I made the podcast. I made the spiritual TikTok. I was like, I'm me. I'm myself. But then I got so stuck again over time. And then I took MTT and it's like, I'm me again. I think I'm an artist, guys. And I think you are too. Oh, and I also think my life's purpose might be the same as Julia Cameron's life purpose, or my life purpose right now, which is to help other people step into their inherent creativity, their inherent power, their inherent. Again, that service part was so important for me. So it's like, what I want to teach is that service element, that like what you have to share. It's not about you. It's not about you. And for me, that was the key. One of the keys that let all this expression out. Let's see. Did I have any notes on this episode? Probably not. Another thing I'm experimenting with. So like right now I just pulled up Notion. I've got this content calendar. My new experiment is like, okay, I'm going to plan a week and all the posts I want to do. And whatever afflictions come up about how, oh, that's not right. Oh, I'm embarrassed. Oh, I don't have anything to say. F that. I'm posting what's on the weekly thing no matter what. And if something really didn't feel right, I'll fix it next week. But honoring what I have set out to do above all else. And that's meditation. Oh my God, it's all a pattern within a pattern within a pattern. That's meditation. Do you hear it? You sit down, you set out to focus on the breath. The mind will forget. You will get distracted. It's just like how last Friday I sat down, I set out to what I was going to do this week. The mind always wants to forget. Oh my God, this is wild. Are you hearing that? Are you hearing that? That's crazy. So yeah, I'm sticking to that. Patreon community, we're still meditating on Tuesday nights through the end of March. Maybe I'll explain this. The reason I keep doing this, like, okay, we're meditating till the end of March, where I'm doing 30 days of authenticity. I'm putting these end caps on things because it's like, I used to think everything I decide, that's the way, that's got to be right forever. No, everything comes to an end. So if Patreon meditations are still feeling good, we'll continue them. But I just wanted to give myself that point to like reevaluate, see if it's working, see if it's time to pivot and readjust. I'm storming with so many ideas. Now that I've like stepped out of this fear in a major way, oh my God, just so many ideas. An idea that's storming is I really want to do like some sort of creator support. And I don't know if that's going to look like a coaching business or a like a 4-week workshop or integrate it into the Patreon community. Something is storming just because I feel like I have something here regarding like setting oneself free creatively. And I know that having a teacher and having a community, those components, plus your own courage with those anchors of support, oh my God, it's unstoppable. So a lot of ideas storming. And one of my challenges is like, what do I do with all these ideas? They're storming. How do I manifest? And one thing that's for sure is I'm not going to let myself become paralyzed by all the chaos that's going on. I'm going to keep moving, do what I set out to do each week. So here's a podcast episode done. Peace.